festivals that you attend. We'll start with you, Ian Shepherd.
I know. I attended the Toronto one, the Atlantic City, and went up to the Rock Hill one for a few hours.
Now, what about the Rock Hill one?
Well, the only reason I went up there is because I met the guy who was running the whole show. I just went up with him for a couple hours.
Was that an all-Canadian festival?
Yeah, it
All
was.
Canadian groups?
All Canadian groups.
Were they
Yeah.
good?
I didn't like most of them. Like he was running a band called Buckstone Hardware, and they were all right.
Mm-hmm.
And Lighthouse I'd already seen, and they were good.
Was this a combination of folk, rock, blues?
No, it was all rock, most of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the odd rhythm and blues thing.
Did you go to the first Toronto Pop Festival?
Yeah.
Did you go for both days?
Mm-hmm. It was really good. I liked it. Well, for the first one, I really thought it was great. Like, I didn't like the sound system. A lot of people didn't like the sound system because it was, I don't know, it seemed to be getting all screwed up all the time. Like, you know, they cut out on the horns or they cut out on the organ, and like one thing would be coming in louder than the other.
Oh, it's just
Had a lot of
matter
hassles.
it being inefficient then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but for the first one, I thought it was really good.
Well, what were some of the pop groups that were at that one?
Steppenwolf, Blood, Sweat and Tears, Johnny Winters, Sly,
Dr. John.
Dr. John, of course, Dr. John, and
Tiny
the
Tim.
band. Tiny Tim was there, yeah. SRC. And who?
Chuck Berry.
Chuck Berry, yeah. Chuck. Oh, I'd seen Chuck Berry before, times before, but I thought it was really good. The band was. I thought that was the best thing that really came on. That was it was too bad it had to be in the afternoon, you know. So I would like to see them at night because
And the band is
that's all Canadian, but like they used to trip around with Dylan.
Yeah.
Of course, a lot of them were in Ronnie Hawkins too. Well, Von Helm was anyway, and so was Robbie Robinson.
What about the Atlantic City one?
Oh, that was August 1st and 2nd, I think it was. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Is that?
yeah, Labor.
And my brother was going down, and he had a ride, and like he got all messed up, so I went down instead of him. But like it was bedlam, pure bedlam. Half the groups didn't even show up. Johnny Winters didn't show up, and a couple of other big groups didn't show up. The band didn't show up. It was really messed. And like at the end, they were ripping down all the boutiques and stealing all the stuff. You know, $450 guitars were ripping off the wall.
Well, so that turned into a riot.
Yeah,
atmosphere.
but like the cops didn't do anything.
Why did it turn? Because these groups didn't show. Do you think that they were?
No, like they were just put in a big a racetrack thing on the racing track, and they were just left
How
all
many
alone.
people were there?
Oh, it must have been about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people. I didn't really notice. It was a lot of people there.
Do you prefer the idea of a festival as opposed to going to a building, a hall, would have a concert?
If you're going with a lot of people, I think a festival would be better. You know, like if you're going in like a group of 15, 20, a festival would be better. I don't know, you seem to meet a lot more of your friends or friends that you know from different areas, and you can walk around with them as well as sit with your own people that you came with. But as in a concert, like you're sitting in a seat, and really like you can't get up in front of the guy and move along, excuse me, you know.
More relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah, it's more relaxed.
So that if they had concert halls like I don't know if you've heard of them here, the proms in Britain, where the people can sit in the seats right
yeah.
outside, and the open part of the floor is open, you can just walk around.
Yeah.
If there was a concert hall like that, it'd be the same idea, would it? We'd be just as happy there as out in the open at a festival?
Yeah, well, like that was like the Rock Pile too. At Masonic, what was it? Masonic Temple, is it?
Yeah.
It was, balcony upstairs and all three. You know, nothing downstairs. Everybody just sat around. No, it doesn't. That's the only thing. And like you always got the police coming in and the fire chief coming in and checking. You got too many people in here. You can't let any more in. Meanwhile, there'd be 200 or 300 people standing outside trying to get in and see the group.
So you feel hassled there.
Yeah, like it was too closed in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, so, the weather, of course, in the summertime would make them want to do it in a kind of an open arena,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? Because it's part of the atmosphere too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Leslie Curry, tell me what festivals you went to.
I went to the 2 festivals here in Toronto, and I went to the Mariposa Folk Festival also.
And
What did I think of them?
Yeah.
Or, oh, I really liked the Pop Festival. I thought it was really fantastic atmosphere. And I thought everything was presented quite well, because I'd never been, I guess it was the first one that I'd ever been to with such a large crowd. I hadn't been to Mariposa the year before at all. And I thought it was just an excellent way of presenting all that and having so many people there. And just being outside and everything, and with, I don't know, I just like having a lot of people there, and you're free to do everything what you want. And you could go with a bunch of people, like Ian said, and you could just, like sort of set up housekeeping sort of, and you could just enjoy it all. And the Mariposa, that was a sort of different atmosphere. It was non-druggy. And it was, I only went on the day of Joan Baez, and it was rather miserable weather, but I went to see Joan Baez, and that was all there was to it, and so I enjoyed Joan Baez. And the Rock and Roll Revival, I only went in the evening, and I really, really enjoyed that one. It was, I don't know, it was very heavy sort of, and yet it wasn't, because it was rock and roll, and yet it seemed heavy to me. Just the way everything went, and the Doors came over quite well, I thought.
what about John and Yoko?
A lot of people didn't like them, but I really liked them. I was sitting way up at the back with some kids, and we were just sitting there sort of in a daze watching them, and I thought they came over quite well. I liked Yoko, but I think she's kind of weird. But I got something, I don't know, I guess it was just the drugs that the people were doing and everything. You could appreciate them, but you couldn't if you hadn't been on any drugs or anything. But I think you would have had to have had drugs on you, in your system to appreciate John and Yoko. I don't know.
What was the crowd's reaction to them?
Well, I heard that many people booed them and everything, but where I was, I couldn't hear this or feel this at all, because we were up at the very back of Varsity, just sitting there watching them and just listening. But you were saying earlier, one time when I was speaking to you, that Gene said that a lot of people were booing and he didn't like them at all and everything. But I'm not sure exactly what it was you said.
We'll ask Jean in a minute. All right, Jean. Let's hear it. Let's hear it from Jean. Tell us, Jean, the festivals that you attended this summer and your impression. I'll sort of help you along there with you two.
It was all the 2 Toronto ones and Woodstock Festival. So yeah. And about John Lennon, Yoko Ono. I know there was John Lennon was okay, but I couldn't understand Yoko Ono at all. It was just, she was just a put on, really. I think, just everybody was, she was just screaming up there all the time, and nobody can listen to that.
That is a form of singing.
It's traditional Japanese singing.
Yeah. So if you like Japanese singing, if that's your bag, but nobody came to listen to hear Yoko Ono sing Japanese folk songs. At least I didn't.
Do you think that the fact that they appeared sort of took some of the glamour away from the Doors, who had to follow them?
Oh yeah, I thought I would have much rather seen John Lennon than the Doors, because I personally like John Lennon, but I don't know, I never really liked the Doors that much. I liked them, but I think, like John Lennon sort of stole the show a bit. Because by the time the Doors came on, everybody was tired of listening to music anyway.
Did Jim Morrison behave himself fairly well on stage?
From, what I saw, he was, the public, like his appearance wasn't what anyone expected him to be. Like he'd gotten sort of to be a slob. Like from the pictures, like the publicity pictures that you see, and him, like in life, wasn't exactly the same.
He's dressed pretty well like a college student, yeah.
Well, he was just sort of a slob. Yeah, he was fat and everything else.
Now, Jean, tell us about your whole trip to Woodstock, beginning from Toronto and going down there, how you got there, what you found when you got there, and how you spent your time there.
Well, we started out we went in a Volkswagen, and we all had our $30, and we went down. And well, when we got to the border, we got pulled over, and they took us inside the station, and they took the driver out, and he got the car searched. And the border guards are very nice. And finally, we got away. And we took all the back roads, didn't take the throughway or anything. And the people in the towns were fairly nice to us. And we didn't see that many people really actually going there, until we got, within 50 miles of the place. But there, we didn't see many people at all, just a couple. And, well, when we got within about 50 miles of the place, then these cars started building up. And then when you got within about 20 miles, it was just a mass, like you couldn't move, like you just sat there in one place for hours trying to move. But then, and people were outside their cars walking around and talking to different people. And then this kid on the side of the road told us this alternate route, how to get there through these back roads. And we got on these back roads, and we got there really fast compared to what the people were waiting in line going on the main highway. So,
did you go directly then to the
festival?
festival?
No, we went to the town, and we sort of got ourselves settled in this little fisherman's park.
Oh, how? By tent or what?
No, we just had the car. That was it, no tent or anything. And, so we started out, and we didn't take sleeping bags or anything, because we didn't think, we weren't the person that was very far away from there. It was just across the lake, and we didn't think it was very far, but it was about 5 miles. So we just hopped on the back of cars that were going out there, and we got out there, finally, after an hour or so, wading in through people and everything. And we got in free, which was nice.
How did you get in free?
Well, the fence was broken down.
Yeah.
And, they already had their money anyway, because there was already, 200,000 people in there.
Who was playing there?
It was the folk night, Richie Havens, and I don't know any of them that were there.
How long did you stay?
We stayed about 2 hours, I guess. And after, it was just waiting around and people all the time. Mm-hmm. There was all kinds of people running around. So we decided to leave and go back to the town and see what was happening there. And now we get drunk.
How did you feed yourself?
Well, we got in the grocery store lines, and they seemed to have enough food at the grocery stores. There was no problem there. And we didn't starve. We fed ourselves quite well, as a matter of fact. And so the rest of the time, we just sat around in town. And the other two guys we were with, they found some other people while we were sleeping, and they got in this hotel room, and they had a fairly good time, because we had to sleep in the car when we were there, and they got to sleep in the hotel.
Mm. Would you continue now with the Woodstock thing? And I want you to tell me about the police. Describe him.
But so we were walking we're walking down the road, and looking for cars to hop on the back of them to get a ride up. And there's all these hippies, thousands of them walking up the road. And the police come down every once in a while. They come down at 65 Hondas and stuff like this, little bikes. They fake you right out, because you might be doing something. And, you don't know it's a cop driving up on this little bike,
Okay.
So, and then there's cops on horses riding around with spurs and cowboy hats, look like one of these Marlon Brando or something, It's really unreal. And you just wait around for cars, cars going down the road. You hop on the back of them. I like the whole thing. I thought it was just one big party, I really like that. Getting in there, for about 2 or 3 days. That's really good.
Did you go back to the scene of the crime at all after the first night? You were with Jean, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we made a couple of attempts, I think, to get back there a few times, but we get lost up in something else happening along the way,
You're more interested in getting to...
Yeah, I like, a lot of people are doing stuff along the way to go there,
Yeah.
So we just hop in with them doing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
And then we stop in every, 20 minutes at some bar at the side of the road. And it was really unreal, because everybody was sharing everything, all their food, everything, people sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And the people along the route that lived along there, they set up little tables, you know, and give out free food, just as this is people that lived on the side of the road. And they were giving out free food and stuff like this, you know.
Water, too.
And water, they'd have their hose hanging out, you know. You could take a drink. But you couldn't get any water once you got in the pop festival, they ran out or something like this. So everybody's crawling back the road looking for hoses and stuff, you know.
Yeah, here's a good point. Do you think that if that the sort of spill out of people from the festival arena there at Woodstock,
Well, it
could they
wasn't.
have contained that number of people if they'd had better facilities? Now, you said you went back to town and you created kind of your own thing there and you were enjoying it and you didn't really care whether you got to the festival and heard any of the music actually. So if the facilities had been better at Woodstock, would more of the kids stayed in that area where the music actually was happening, where the groups were?
Yeah, I think so. If they had better facilities, if they had, you know, stores and things like that. But as it wasn't like the Coliseum or something like that downtown.
No.
Like it was just one big field, you know, and a couple of miles away from town. And you know, you had to get into town to get food and stuff because you had to wait in ticket lines to buy tickets to get a hamburger, and then you had to go through 5 million people to get a hamburger, and it just wasn't worth it, you know. So outside, I think we would have stayed in there if they had proper facilities.
You don't feel you missed anything by not staying there? You had a good time anyway?
Yeah, I had a really good time. I didn't miss anything, I don't think, you know.
So the good time that you had was partly the contact that you had with kids your own age from different places in the United States?
Yeah.
So you really created your own atmosphere. It wasn't the music that created this atmosphere.
No,
it was just
there was
being
no-
together
yeah.
with kids of your own age and doing all the same thing.
There was like, you know, there wasn't no music or anything like that. It was just people doing things all over the place, you know, and all you did was roam from party to party, like, you know, hit them all, and you really get off.
Yeah, but they couldn't have had much better facilities. There was no way. Well, for that many people, like, you know, there's no way you could set up facilities for that many people. Unless you had television screens all the way over the place. But what good is that?
Why do you think that it attracted so many people?
It was just, you know, like say, pop festivals had been happening like all over the place. And people who hadn't gone wanted to go, you know. So finally, when this one came up and there was, you know, like a lineup of good entertainers, they decided, well, let's go. Let's pack in, you know, all the stuff and let's go.
What was the lineup, Gene?
Well, it's Jimi Hendrix and, you know, and Jefferson Airplane and Crosby, Stills and Nash, and
It was every top band that, you know, in the States, every top band was going. I don't think it was because of the music or all the people or the bands necessarily. I think it was, you know, getting all that people together, you know, just to have a good time. Like, not just for the music, because you can go home and put on a record and hear it too. You know, so what's that? It's just getting all those people together, you know, for peace and love and all that, what they said, you know. You have a good time.
so you really can't go to one of those things to listen to music, because I don't see that, you know, people go there to listen to music, because you can't really get into the music anyway, because the entertainers are on for such a short time anyway, and the fact that you know, like, you just can't get into that one thing. But if you go, say, to the O'Keefe Center and see, well, use Led Zeppelin, you know, you really, because you can, you know, it's a good show, and you can, you know, sit there and watch and get in, like, it's the atmosphere of the place, like the excitement of the atmosphere. Say at Maple Leaf Gardens when the Beatles played there, you know, it's just the excitement, and to hear the music, you could, you know, you couldn't hear it then, but say with one of the groups now, I'd much rather go to, say, the Rock Pile, because I personally like the Rock Pile because of the fact that it was, you know, closed in, and there was, you know, between you and the group there was, you know, a short space, and that you could really hear what they were playing. It wasn't, you know, everything was just going out in the air, and, you know, they couldn't set up the amps and stuff right.
Yeah.
You just can't go to listen to music.
Jack, tell us about the festivals that you attended and your opinions of it.
I went to the two festivals at Toronto, and that was about it, except for a couple of things at Nathan Phillips Square. The one with Lighthouse, I really enjoyed that. And the thing I liked best about the festivals at Varsity was the people. Like, I saw people at Varsity that I hadn't seen for years, people that I used to know, places I lived before. And just, I met a lot of American people that were really impressed with Canada, you know, like, they saw cops walking around and everybody was really stoned and people were passing out dope all over the place. And nobody was, you know, I don't think anybody got busted there. And like, they were really impressed with the fact that nobody was getting hassled, you know. Like, the cops were just there like they were part of the audience, you know. And like,
Were they young, Jack?
the cops?
That were there?
I didn't notice. I wasn't too in, you know, like, I wasn't watching for them or anything. You know, like, in the States, I guess they're really afraid of the cops. And like, they expected sort of a police state thing, you know. And it just didn't happen, you know. It was really great.
They were pretty unobtrusive, weren't they?
Yeah, like, the only people they were hassling at the revival was the people who were breaking into the place, you know.
Mm.
And they didn't bother anybody else.
Mm.
Like, I guess they just, well, it would have been a riot if they had tried to do anything.
Did you hear fairly well when you were
At the pop festival, the first Toronto Pop Festival, it was terrible because the wind, like, I don't know, they didn't have the amp set up right. Like, they built up this thing with some guy from the States was supposed to bring in all these great amps and everything, and like, the wind just took it away. You know, like, if you were at the back of the stadium, it wasn't very good. You'd hear parts of it, you know, and like Ian said, one section had cut out, but it was better at the revival.
Did you feel you got your money's worth at both?
Oh yeah, I was quite, you know, I enjoyed myself. I was quite happy with both of them.
So it was a combination of seeing the groups that you like and seeing the people again. That you
Well,
liked,
I wasn't
or just being in the...
like, I wasn't watching the groups really. I was sort of walking around, listening to the music and looking for people, you know, and meeting all kinds of new people and things.
Good. Sandy, we haven't talked to you. We haven't talked to you yet, Ian, but that's okay. We'll do that. We still have some time on that tape?
I have workshops at the first Toronto Pop Festival, you know, in the arena itself. And I walked over there about 4 o'clock, and there was nobody. Everybody was just sitting around. There was a few people selling buckskins and things, but nobody went over. And they kept saying things about it, you know, like Richie York kept coming on and saying, why don't a few people go over to the arena, folk singers and things. And nobody went. You know, like, there was nobody of any significance there. Few local people, you know, folk singers, but nobody wanted to go.
It's like you don't really think of
It's not what they went for.
No.
For one thing.
Does what you wear to a pop festival matter?
Yeah, like, a lot of people, I remember at the revival, they had sort of a contest thing where, like, you know, Kim Fowley he really wanted to see people dressed, you know, like freaky or something, I don't know. And they sort of had a contest for people who could do the best, you know. And I saw this one guy, this one big Negro guy, and he had a red velvet suit on, and he had his hair all frizzed out and everything, and he looked really strange, you know. I guess a lot of people go to see what other people are wearing.
Mm-hmm. And they sort of want to wear what your sort of best. All right, Ian.
I only caught the rock and roll revival in September, and I really liked it. I thought, you know, the idea of, you know, all the people there. I enjoyed it. The only thing I had against it was the MC. Was it Kim Fowley? Yeah, you know, he kind of, you know, lied at the people to try to keep them under control. But besides that, it was really good.
Do you think that that was something they didn't need, was an MC? Or
Well,
they didn't need him?
No, they didn't need him particularly. But, you know, it would have been just adequate to have somebody up there announcing what group was on next. Although maybe even that wasn't necessary. Mm-hmm. But, you know, just kind of somebody to keep a bit of order in the place. Well, that sounds kind of crude, but It'd be nice to have somebody who's just kind of, between the
Going
groups.
front.
Yeah, between the groups and the audience. But it doesn't have to be somebody who's, comes on like Kim Fowley.
What's his approach then? Is it sort of a disc jockey thing?
Well, yeah, it's kind of an AM disc jockey approach, where he has to kind of, say we're not going to put the group on if you don't all be quiet, and the group's not coming on until the lights go out, and it's kind of threatening everybody, which is,
Wasn't necessary with that crowd.
totally
was it?
unnecessary.
Mm.
In fact, I didn't see an excuse for using it at all.
Mm.
But of course, he had these speakers behind him. There's nothing you could do about it,
Where's he from? He's not Toronto.
Los Angeles?
Yeah, he's got an album out. Good Clean Fun.
Yeah.
Did you go early and stay late? Did you see the whole thing?
Well, I came in the afternoon. I didn't catch all the morning, but I stayed till the end, and it kind of progressively got better, I think, as far as I was concerned.
Were there any Canadian groups in this last one? No Canadian groups in the rock?
Whiskey Hall, yeah. That's not a Canadian band.
What are you doing?
But
All right, we'll. Then what your impressions were of the group and the crowd?
Oh, well, I only got to the rock and roll revival, and I was really impressed with it, and I guess that's just because it was the only one I went to. But, I don't know, I got there early, like, we caught everybody, and we stayed until the end, and I was impressed pretty well with everything. But, like, 3:30. And, I don't know, everybody, like, that we sat around were nice,
Did you know
Thanks, all.
everyone that you sat around?
Well, no, we didn't, but we got to know, quite. I saw a few people that I knew, and I saw Jean taking movies, and saw Bob, and there were some, like, I saw kids like that I saw at Lighthouse, and, Nick and those kids. But everybody was really nice,
Well, how big was the group that you sat in?
Well, like there was
20,000.
well, Jack and I and Bones, and well, we just got there. There were about 4 of us, and then we sat down, and we saw Sandy and a few other kids. But like we got to know everybody around us, and then we came back. We went out for dinner. We got back. We just kind of walked around the track a few times, and we saw pretty well everybody that we knew from around here.
Did you stay in one place all the time when you went, or did you move, down closer to the groups that you wanted to hear?
No, we just stayed in one place, because
Did some kids do that, Lois?
yeah, some people moved up to the front when John Lennon came on. And, I don't know, like it was, a lot of people just moved around, because it got, it was hot that day. And, everybody just kind of walked around and, sat with certain other people that they saw that they knew, but.
What about the things that the kids were wearing?
There weren't any really strange, I saw the mime troupe. They were all in this,
Please?
the mime troupe,
The
the
paint
mimes.
they wear?
Oh, white paint mime.
And the Cosmic Police. They had these Air Force hats on with kind of
Wings.
plastic,
Big wings.
yeah, plastic wings on the side.
Yeah.
And there was, just a few people here and there.
Did you think you got your money's worth?
Yeah, I think so, It was, I think I did because I liked everybody, that was there. All the bands pretty well.
What did you think of John?
Oh, I liked them. I thought they were really good. And I thought, I don't know, I was really embarrassed for John Lennon when everybody booed Yoko Ono. I felt really, I was embarrassed myself, No, I was, really. I thought it was rude.
Good. Okay, Sandy, can we talk to you now, please? You're just waiting. You're just sitting there waiting for your turn.
I was watching it.
How did they sound? Funny?
Yeah, they were making sure everybody was really stoned. They were, no, they kept coming
Oh,
up
right.
with
I went to the pop festival in Toronto in the Rock Revival, and I went to the thing at Rock Hill by Orangeville. Well, I liked all three of them. Like I really like pop festivals and stuff like that. I like the bands at the Toronto Pop Festival. Like I thought all the bands were really good.
Did you go for both days?
Yeah.
How much did it cost?
I paid at the door. It cost me $7 each day.
$14, I think.
Yeah.
Did you go and stay all day long?
The first night I went for a couple hours. Second I went all day.
Did they have good weather for that, didn't
Yeah, it was really good.
they?
Well, it rained when Dr. John Lenitch come on.
That's good.
That was
It's supposed to or something.
You probably conjured that up.
He
Yeah.
did.
We did.
And the one at Orangeville was strictly a Canadian thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. There wasn't very many people there.
Were the same organizers? Same people organized that?
I don't know.
John.
So anyways, like some people didn't even watch the bands. They just sat around drinking beer, sitting in their tents. I just sort of went back and forth all day. I was there for 3 days.
Where did you sleep?
I don't think I went to sleep. No, I didn't. I just walked around all. It went like they showed movies after the bands finished playing, like Planet of the Apes and everything. It was really neat. All these stone people were soaking it all
Sitting
up.
there as mother.
Yeah, well, the bands, like, they weren't that good. There were, a couple of Toronto bands. I liked the Lighthouse, Nucleus.
Does Toronto have a sound?
Well, I guess it does, but it doesn't get known very well.
Is it unique then?
Well, I thought the Lighthouse was, like, they're really original.
Travis said we kind of met us at Maylife.
Yeah, I like them.
And the rock revival.
I like that. I really liked when, like for John Lennon and the Doors, I was about 20 feet away from them. And, like, I just really admire Lennon. He looks so powerful, Like when he stood there, and one time he just stood there and looked at the people for a couple of minutes, and he looked so cool.
What did they do before they came out? What was that thing?
Yeah, everybody did.
Yeah, you tell us about that.
When Lennon came out?
Before he came out, the disc jockey said...
Oh, yeah, the Olympic matches. Oh, yeah, that was really
yeah,
cool.
Start by saying, before John and Yoko came on, whoever this guy was said, like, match.
Yeah, well, they said, like, you're going to be on in 10 seconds, and I want everyone to light a match and stand up, and the whole place just lit up like a lamp. It was really neat. And everyone, like, when they were singing, everyone stood up and made the peace sign and everything. And, like, he really had everyone's attention. It really bugged me when everyone started booing, I really felt embarrassed, too.
You felt embarrassed for
Yeah.
John and for Yoko?
There's some people beside me that are really ignorant, like, if they don't like them, they don't have to boo, they could just sit there, And here's this guy who's a lot better than most of these people, a lot more intelligent, and, he's done more for people, and he's getting booed, It's sickening.
Was it good to hear John Lennon playing rock again?
Yeah, well, I've never seen him. I've always wanted to see him, I just sat there and stared at him the whole time. I really liked him.
What was he wearing?
White suit. It's like on that Abbey Road, I liked it. I met some people, like I met in Vancouver, in Winnipeg. I met them at the Rock Revival. And you get to see people you haven't seen in a long time and everything.
Is it the same crowd that would go to that each time?
Well, yeah, like both the Rock Revival and the Pop Festival. It's more. Well, yeah, like both the Rock Revival and the Pop Festival. It's more or less the same people, same kind of people, anyways.
Yeah.
At Rock Hill, it's really weird. When I first went there, it was really tense and everything. There's a bunch of kids drunk out of their heads going around fighting.
Where were they from?
Local people, I guess.
They weren't the Toronto
No.
group. They were the kids that also had the problems with the acid and things. They
Yeah.
were the ones that had the serious problems.
I didn't like that thing in the Globe Mail. That's all he talked about was bad acid and stuff like that. They didn't talk about anyone having a good time or anything. A lot of people did.
Did any of the newspapers talk about it?
I just read the Globe Mail. Everyone really did what they wanted to. Like there was caves and people sat in caves and it's nice and cool in there and you go swimming. You could really do what you wanted to.
Was the weather good, Sandy?
Yeah, it was really good because like I didn't get cold or anything. All I had on was a t-shirt and a pair of pants all weekend.
What days did it, what were it?
Well, Friday night there was a lot of people up there and they had movies and they had bands Saturday and Sunday.
Did what you wore to the Toronto concerts matter to you?
Well, clothes don't really impress me or anything. Like I like things that are comfortable, you know.
What did you think of the sort of galaxy of people with all of their best sort of things?
Well,
on?
I really admire British mods, and I think they're really sharp looking. Like the kind of people who go to see the Who, like they really look cool. Like clothes like that look good on the kind of person. Like I like to wear good clothes and everything, but I like to be comfortable.
So it didn't matter to you what you wore then, as
No.
long as you could be comfortable
Yeah.
sitting there for 12 hours. Good. Okay, Lynn, can we talk to you now, please? Tell us which festivals or festival you went to and your impression of the music and the people and
You gonna ask me questions?
probably. Where were you last night? No, but just first of all, start with the festivals that you attended.
Well, I only went to one festival, and that was the Varsity Pop Festival, and I really enjoyed myself. And I know a lot of people met different people there. I didn't. We stayed in a group, but it wasn't. I could just feel even if I could have gone to meet people if I'd felt like it, but I just felt like sitting there. But you could feel the sort of the goodwill all through the audience, and you could feel as if you went to somebody and said something to them, you wouldn't get a put down for saying it. That everybody would just be, no one would hassle you about anything. And I really like the music. I haven't attended anything like Woodstock, where you just go and dig the people, and it doesn't really matter about the music. But I think with a smaller area like that, I really think the music was important. And I just really liked the whole thing, just the whole atmosphere and everything. I thought it was very well done. And the one thing that bothered me was, the bumper stickers. And a lot of people really put that down, and they said that the bumper stickers were really phony and really corny. Well, they were bumper stickers that used to, and said, I attended the Varsity Pop, and you wore them, and they gave them to people and everything.
Where did you wear
And
them?
on your where you put a rubber sticker, and
Not on your car.
not in your car, no. And I thought those people were really stupid, because in a place like Toronto where we've never ever had anything like that before. Well, there's been Mariposa, but that was never on any kind of a big scale like this. And I really thought that they were right in really playing up the pop festival and having a lot of publicity, because otherwise they wouldn't have gotten the turnout they did. 40,000 or 50,000 or something like this. And I think the people who said that were just trying to be too cool, like, so it's not cool to do that. But I think they had to do it to get the turnout, because I don't think Toronto's all that together yet about things like that. Sure, in the States maybe they don't need it, but I thought it was a good idea here.
Well, the population, of course, is much bigger in the state. Yeah, so they don't, their advertising has to be more localized and, to get to the crowd. I thought the bumper stickers were a good idea. To programs, they sold programs in there?
Did they?
A dime each?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
gave
they
them
gave
that.
them. They gave them.
They give them that?
I think they were selling this. They were selling
Lynn,
posters.
did what you wore to the festival matter to you? Did you
No,
spend some time thinking
no.
about what you were going to do?
because I didn't have the time for one thing, and I didn't care what I wore, you know. I just sat in the grass and watched everybody. It was nice to see all sorts of other people all decked out and everything. And I think sure everybody wanted to go and look, quote, groovy, you know. But it didn't really matter to me. I don't think it mattered to a lot of people.
Could you get marijuana or hash or acid very easily at the festival? If you wanted to.
Sure. Well, everybody was just sitting around, and like I said, you know, you could go up and say, "Can I have a toke?" And they give it to you, and they were passing it around and everything, and it was really great because everyone was sitting out with their picnic baskets and their fruit and everything, and you could just sort of go around, and everybody was sharing knives and sharing food, and it was such a nice feeling, you know. It was like, no, you didn't know anybody, but they were all so friendly, and everybody was happy and having a good time.
Well, are rock festivals then sort of love-ins with the kind of music that you like to listen to live? Would you say that about the festival? Remember the love-ins of 2 years ago
develops
or
into
something?
one kind.
It didn't seem as phony as a love-in, where everybody's trying.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was just nice, you know, and they're not going around giving flowers to everybody and everything. They're not giving flowers, they're just giving their own niceness, you know.
Good, okay. Can I talk to you about clothes? Because I remember you saying a little while. Okay, we're going to talk about clothes at Rock Festival.
I mean, yeah, a lot of people went, you know, with all these sharp gear and everything, which they didn't need, you know, because the place turned into one big pig pen after, you know, all those people. And people, you know, weren't wearing any clothes. Like, you know, everybody take off all the sharp gear they wore, because it would get, you know, wrecked. Like all I did, I had a pair of jeans on, just left them on all weekend, you know, because they'd do for anything.
What about the pop festivals here?
Oh yeah, the pod festivals here, well, they were just for like one day, right? So you really couldn't get into it, like for a 3-day bash. But, you know, it's just one day. And all the people went out, all the chicks, nice dressed and everything, you know, dresses and everything, you know, people were showing off their gear and stuff.
The boys too, though, were well.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of, you know, like the mods, Scotch mods and stuff like that. I mean, I think they look cool, but I don't think they look cool. I don't really care about clothes that much. But you know, that's cool. Do your own thing, you know. And John and Yoko, John was nice, you know, John, but he shouldn't have taken his wife. She was really lousy.
Well, all right,
She
now
just stayed
let's
at
hear your
home.
criticism of her then.
Of her? Well, that's all the, you know, I booed along with the rest of the people. I thought it was lousy, even though I didn't pay anything to get in to see. That was, I think it was a mock. Actually, you know,
You don't
just
think she was
screaming.
into her own thing, like,
Into your own thing. Like, sure, do your own thing, you know, but not up there. John's great, right? But, you know, that she blew it for him, you know, really.
but not many people liked the idea of John Lennon being married to Yoko Ono anyway before she came here, isn't that true?
Yeah, that's true. You know, a lot of the chicks really thought that blew it for them, you know. But it was really wild. All the vags get up on stage and start dancing around. Like, we were around the back, you know, in the press thing. The vagabonds. And we were around the back, you know, they're the bike group. So we were around the back in the press, and there's all these vags running around back there, you know. And they got up on the stage and they started dancing around and everything on stage. And Chuck Berry came on. Yeah, during Alice Cooper and stuff like that.
Why were they allowed to do that?
I don't know, like, that's what they want, you know. You don't do nothing if it's the vax.
Yeah,
You can't do
shoot a
this.
gun, right?
No, no. They must have known somebody because it was the few like the so like say the executive type one, the executives of the group of the gang, they were up there and they were the ones because I was on stage same time they were with Alice Cooper, and they were just up there and nobody said anything to them. But they got off peacefully and everything when they were told to leave. You know, like when the guy said they had to clear the stage and people on the stage please get off.
They behaved themselves.
Oh yeah, they did.
Didn't they escort the doors from the airport?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah,
Somebody,
yeah.
they drove Morrison down the back of their bike from the airport or something, so that's why I guess they were right in there, you know. They really get into things, like, you know.
I kind of like that in a way, you know, that they were included, because they've always been sort of outsiders and, you know, the bad guys. Maybe they
Yeah.
are, I don't know, but the fact that they could also be included
Sure,
meant
they-
that it was a,
Yeah, they never hassled anyone. I never saw any fights. You know, they go like the vags got hair and everything. You know, they don't pick on anybody with long hair or anything like that. You know, like
they look a lot like a lot of other kids
sure they
now.
do, like they do. Like
I
you
mean,
know,
a
they
lot of
didn't.
other kids look like the bad.
I've never seen a vag hassle anybody, like you know, that hasn't hassled them or anything like that. That hasn't, you know, ripped them off or something like that. And all in all, it's cool.
Good. Now, the last question is,
I don't think they could do it on the same proportion that they're doing it right now, because right now it's kind of a novelty, you know. Like you go down, you know, like you know this weekend, you know, it's kind of the pop festival weekend. You know, you get to go down to the pop festival, but it's only kind of, you know, what, like you talk about it and things. Like I think if they do it on that scale again, I think it'd have to be something like the rock pile.
do you think that the festivals were a 1969 phenomenon?
They started this year, but I think they'll continue for a while. I think they'll probably die out though.
Okay. Okay, Gene?
I think
Second digital.
Sorry. Were they a 1969 phenomenon?
I think it's just as long as you got the same people, like the people like that are growing all the time, like the things getting bigger and bigger, like the hippie sort of thing. That's a class. I think it's next year it's possible to have them again, but on the 2 or 3 week thing, I doubt it. Because first of all, if they're gonna charge $7 a day like they did this year, no one's gonna be able to afford it. People have a hard enough time getting $7 at one day, you know, like at one time, as it is for even the thing. But I was satisfied with the 2 or 3 pop festivals in the summer. It was something to look forward to.
Yeah, I think they were, you know, 1969 phenomenon. But you couldn't do it. You can't do it like that. 2 or 3 weeks, every 2 or 3 weeks. You couldn't, like, it would get into a regular dance thing, like you could hold it, arenas, stuff like that. Myself, I wouldn't go because I think you're commercializing it too much.
Wouldn't
know?
you be running out of groups? Wouldn't you have to be bringing in secondary, third